All right, what is up, everybody? My name is Andrew, and this is the Medellin Buzz, and this is episode 3 of these live streams. These live streams are going to become also a podcast, and you can get that anywhere you listen to your podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Won't be up until next week. But yeah, this is episode 3, guys, and today's episode is going to be about living like royalty in Medellin. And what does that mean? It means that we're going to talk about what it takes to optimize your life in Medellin, depending on your budget. Obviously, everybody has different budgets, from $1,000 a month to, I know people here that have $10,000 a month, and you can optimize your budget in order to live an amazing life, better than what you live currently. And that's the idea. Obviously, if you're going to be moving to a country like Colombia and a city like Medellin, you want to optimize, you want to get the most out of life, have the most free time, and better yourself. So that's what it is. That's what today is. Let's say hi to everybody that's here. What's up, Joel? How's it going? No more Gothic? Look, I know I fixed it today. What's good, Joel? How you doing? What's up, Sam? How you doing? Hope you're having a good day, Sam. Zombie farts are the worst from Canada. I remember you're in Canada. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day today, guys. Hope everyone's having a good day, whatever you're doing. It is Friday. Today is a work day for me. I have a full day of work. I start at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I actually had to go get x-rayed because I'm getting my cast off next Thursday, so they had to do x-rays today. So I had to go do that at 6 in the morning. Was in front of the computer by 7 and started working, training a new hire for our digital marketing company, and then started to work on getting this started, doing a live stream. I've been live streaming video games for the last year and like 9 months, no, 10 months, almost 2 years now. So I know how to do the live stream, but it's a little different now. Hey, let's go, Sam. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Sam. Hope you're having a great day, Sam. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Guys, if you want to become a member to the channel, you get special perks. For example, like member-only videos. For example, Sam just became a member to the channel. You get member-only perks. For example, he's got a little skull next to his name. Sam does. And then you also get to use the emotes that I have when in the chat. And on top of that, you get member-only chat and a couple other member-only benefits. So check that out. It's below the video. You just click on join and you can get the information. And on top of that, 20% of anything that I make on this channel, the whole idea is 20% goes to the nonprofit organization that I help establish called Help Colombia. This year for Christmas, we're getting all the kids that do the English classes on Saturday shoes. So we're recovering funds for that. Obviously, anything that we get goes towards that. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a good Christmas for the kids in Moravia. So guys, yeah. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about how to optimize your budget and some of the pain points that people have when they get here, especially that first year, second year, even third year of living in Medellin. And feeling like, okay, I'm not a local yet. I'm not living like I'm not optimizing my time yet. And the idea is to give you guys some pointers as far as how to get here and optimize that your budget and your time, and really get the most out of Medellin and living in a country that has such a great cost of living for people that are making dollars, right? Obviously, if people that are living in Colombia and are Colombians and having, they have Colombian wages, they're going to be at a different budget. But obviously, this is more for people that are coming from other countries with budgets. So that's one of the big questions that I have for people is like, one of the biggest questions that I get when people want to move down here, and one of the biggest obstacles for when people come down to Colombia is, number one, is obviously their budget. The biggest obstacle is budget related. Not only some people think that they don't have enough money to live in Medellin full time or even part time, but on top of that, a lot of people don't make money remotely. So that's a big pain point. It's like, how do I get money remotely? And I'll tell you a little bit about my story. When I first got here back in 2010, I had just been deported from the United States, and I came here with no money. I was 29 years old, so I was basically broke. I had a credit card that had like $2,000 on it. So I had that at least. And I had no job because in the United States, I was working at an office in Newport Beach. So I didn't have a remote job. So I had to start looking for remote work in 2010, where remote work wasn't really like a trend like it is nowadays. I think now, if I were to be 29 years old right now, or any age, I guess, in the United States, and I wanted to move abroad, it would be a way easier today to do that because of the remote job and the basically freelancer opportunities also that you have today compared to 2010. 2010, it was a grind. And I'll tell you how I got some of my clients to begin with to start my path of living a great life in Medellin. And then we'll go into like tips and stuff on how to optimize your own budget. Joel says, I know a guy that comes to America, works every day for 3 months and saves around 18,000 US dollars and goes to Medellin, lives for 9 months. That when money runs out, he does it again. I know a few people like that. For example, the guy that owns the bar that I go to, he works on an oil rig, and he's like 1 month on and 1 month off. And he's been doing it for years. He's like in his 50s now, early 50s. He makes 6 figures, and he's going to have an amazing pension, and he'll be able to draw early because of their work. He's explained it to me that he can retire early from there and still get like $5,000 to $8,000 per month on his pension alone. And on top of that, he's got other investments and stuff. So that's an amazing thing, especially if you have that type of life. But the type of life that Joel just remarked about is like you have to go back for 3 months, and then you basically come down here for $18,000. And you're spending all your money. I don't know. I don't really agree with just spending money, right? Like I would want to make money, and even if I'm down here, I'm still making money. So I'd like to find a way to be able to live here and make US dollars, and maybe if I have to go back for 3 months, work for those 3 months and make even more money. But while I'm down here, still be making money. So that I think that's like the biggest pain point for a lot of people. It's like sometimes I don't want to leave. I don't want to go back and have to work in the United States in an office or at a location, right? Roman, what's up, Roman? How you doing? Roman says most of expats are losers and awkward. They are surviving with barely $1,500 to $2,000 a month and are always cheap. They have no long-term plans. Well, see, Roman, I think the allure of Medellin is that it's like it's obviously the low cost of living. So let's talk about the 3 biggest benefits or the 3 biggest allures that Medellin has for foreigners. Number 1 is the weather, and number 2 is the low cost of living, and number 3 is the people. And if you're a man, people mean women. But in general, the people and the culture is amazing. So you got those 3 benefits. And for a long time, those 3 benefits were the people that could take advantage of that were older people, retirees. And most retirees on a pension have about $2,000, $1,500, $2,000, maybe $3,000 a month. So they're pinching pennies, right? They want to make sure that they have enough to live on. But now you have a lot of digital nomads, a lot of middle-aged people that work online as well, or they have their own small businesses online or whatever. And again, their budgets aren't huge because maybe they are making $5,000, $10,000 a month, but they only want to spend $2,000 because you want to save that, and that is completely fine. But yeah, you want to optimize the amount of money that you're spending and investing, right? So that's what we're going to talk about here today. How to do that and how I've been able to do that in the last 13 years. And really, it's only been the last 8 years because for the first 5 years, I was broke and working online and basically working month to month. And I worked local jobs, and I'll tell you about that experience as well. But the last 8 years, I've been able to build a business. I've been able to optimize my time, leverage the cost of living, the cost of labor, and obviously invest. Sam says, is it worth doing a student visa for AFIT for Spanish classes for a year or 2 instead of always in and out? No, tourist visa. It's common in Asia, but not sure about Latin America. Yeah, student visas are definitely common here. AK, the guy that I did, my business partner in the Medellin Masterclass, he did a student visa here. And one of the biggest things about that is that that the student visa is pretty easy to get. And on top of that, it's functional. It's like if you don't speak Spanish, you definitely want to go to the classes. Obviously, it's recommended that you go to the classes. Some people just get the student visa to be able to be here a year and they don't even go to classes or whatever, but that can fuck with you or with you getting, sorry, I just cursed. We're trying to keep it family friendly. It can mess with you getting a permanent visa or longer term visa. So you definitely want to go to classes. Obviously you want to consult a lawyer, but yeah, the student visa is super popular here with foreigners. And if I were, for example, wanting to go to like the Philippines and I wanted to be there a year, I'd take the student visa because I want to learn Tagalog. I would want to learn how to speak their language, right? So that makes sense. Joel says, agree the key is to live in Medellin a while. Yeah, we'll get to that. Making dollars in Medellin, obviously making dollars really anywhere in the world apart from maybe like the UK and where people use the euro. Let me rephrase, guys between 20 and 40, not retirees. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the people that we see on, to your point, Roman, the people that we see on Facebook groups that seem like douchebags are the ones that make the most noise. Those are the people that you see posting all the time, like wanting attention. I don't know. I don't get it. I still don't get. We talked about this last week, why the Medellin groups on Facebook are so toxic and weird, but I know a ton of people on those groups. They're in the groups, but they never talk. Like, for example, the owner of Casa Col, Brad, he's in those groups, but he's never made one comment in the 10 years that I've been moderating most of those groups. People that are well off and do things that make big moves in Medellin, they don't need to comment on Facebook and stuff. Casanova, what's good, Casanova? That's the goal for me. Big budget, but would love to lower my cost of living. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that today. Obviously, these lives I turn into a video that I upload, obviously condense it down to like 8 to 15 minutes. So we'll be talking about that. Alejandro, what's good? Alejandro, I'm moving to Medellin in December from Puerto Rico for Pura Vida. Wait, is that Costa Rica? That's Costa Rica. They say that. But Puerto Rico for 2 months. If we like it, we'll stay longer. I'm pretty sure you'll like it. The only thing that you might not like if you live by the beach is that there is no beach here. But if you like mountains, nice, fair weather, you're going to love it here. What's up, ABX girl? How you doing? At $2,000, $3,000 US dollars, you can barely survive and either need a food pantry or homeless in the US. The homeless, $5 and over is the fastest growing group. 5K, you mean? 55. Oh, sorry, 55. I read dollars. 55 and over, yeah, is growing, sadly. Yeah, that's really bad. I mean, in the United States, it seems like a lot of people are the cost of living has gone up, especially in cities or places along the coasts, East Coast, West Coast. Pacific Northwest now is more expensive. Even like places like Houston and Texas, where a lot of people from California have migrated. I know because my sister tells me all this. She still lives there. My parents still live there. My whole family still lives there, barring my brother who lives in Barranquilla with his girlfriend. And I love Barranquilla. I'm looking, actually, I might buy an apartment in Barranquilla. I think that might be the next hot spot, but I got to do more research. I'll keep you guys abreast to that. Funny you mentioned Philippines. I lived there for 3 years. You just left. Yeah, I have a couple employees there, and I've always been intrigued about the Philippines, and I'd like to go visit. To Blue, what's up, Blue? How's you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Sirs, I sent you a YouTube message about 74 partly disabled. Yes, I sent you, I replied to your email, bro. This year, I'm having 2 surgeries, but I would like to move there and take courses at the University of Medellin. Yeah, you might even be looking at AFIT, which is a better university. It depends on what you want to study. But yes, the universities, the public universities here are actually really good. What is not good, and I was reading about this today, is that Medellin has like some of the worst education for like elementary and high school students. They just don't a lot, and there's a lot of people that don't go to school, and it's been getting better since the pandemic. At the pandemic, it was at its height for people failing a whole year, and then also for people not going to school or kids not going to school. but it's getting better it's gotten better every year after the pandemic, or after 2020, I should say. Mr. Moscow, wait, Blue, were you the one that sent me an email? If you did send me an email, I replied to you. If not, then you might want to send me an email. It's just, what is it? Medellin Buzz, and it's in my description. It's in my description, my email. Mr. Moscow, Facebook groups prove we don't send our best. Well, Facebook groups, if you look at Facebook groups in the United States, it's just a bunch of trolls. Really, Facebook as a whole is just for trolling a lot of the time. Even in the Colombian groups, like in the Colombian like apartments or job groups that I'm part of, and local groups that I'm a part of, you see trolls all the time. It seems like the trolls are the ones that talk the most. It's like, and get the most attention and feedback or whatever, engagement. What's up, Matt? How you doing? I hope you're having a good day. You know anything about the social clubs in Medellin, El Rodeo and Club Campestre? I ain't that rich, buddy. No, I'm kidding. I've never been to El Rodeo, but I've been to Club Campestre. They are exclusive to join. You can go in there for a day pass to like play golf or whatever. But to join, it's pretty expensive. I think it's like $10,000 a year. I remember I looked into that, but I don't like golf that much or hanging out with those type of people to warrant me spending $10,000 or investing $10,000. Yeah, I moved from LA to Orange County. Now Orange County cost of living is the same as LA now. Yeah, Orange County is, some parts of Orange County is even more expensive, like Newport Beach and Huntington Beach and all that. That's Casanova. Alejandro, we went there on August. Yes, I live beachfront, but we'll give it a try anyways. On December, there will be direct flights from San Juan to Medellin. Yeah, they're more expensive during December, but the best time to be in Medellin is in December. That's for sure. Apart from August, when it's Feria de Flores, I think December is the best, especially if it's your first time here. Zombie farts are the worst, says here in Canada. They've changed the pension. I don't qualify for it, so I'll have to move to get it. Oh, wow. That stinks. You didn't get your email? You didn't get my email. Okay. All right. You'll send me an email. No worries. Rick, how's the cycling scene in Medellin, I hear? Oh, well, you mean like bicycling? Colombia has two biggest sports. The two biggest sports, number one is obviously soccer. The second biggest sport in the country is cycling. Like you see cyclists every single day. It's not even just on the weekends. It's every single day along the highway, going up the mountains. It's crazy. There's definitely a huge scene. And if you want to find people to cycle with, just go to mdecommunity.com. And there's a group for cyclists in there, a WhatsApp group, and they get together and they cycle. And you could even get your own group together through that group. It's great. Rick, yeah, that was Rick. Sorry. Echo Cleaning Group says, here from San Antonio, Texas. Grew up in Puerto Rico, planning the trip to Colombia. Yeah, San Antonio. Wait, isn't that where Stevie Ray Vaughan is? The reason why I started playing a guitar was Stevie Ray Vaughan was he from San Antonio or from Houston? I forget. But anyway, there's a monument for him, I think, in San Antonio. Sam says, damn, 10K, who's there? Business moguls and La Oficina. Yeah, it's like that's where the rich people hang out, at Club Campestre and Club Rodeo. All right, guys, so optimizing your budget when you come down to Medellin. So one of the biggest pain points when people come down to Medellin is the fact that they have to rent furnished, and usually they're renting through Airbnb. And then on top of that, if they want to rent like a local, here are the requirements. If you want to rent an apartment, like an unfurnished apartment in El Poblado or in Laureles or anywhere in Medellin, but obviously if you have a pretty good budget, $2,000 or more, you're going to want to live in El Poblado or Laureles or maybe even Envigado. But in order to rent anywhere in Medellin, you have to have a local ID and you have to have some sort of local credit. And on top of that, you have to be able to prove income in Colombia somehow. And then on top of that, you have to be able to back your lease or have a lien against your lease in form of either a lot of money that you make or actual property that you own. It's weird. It's crazy. Like, Why would I rent if I own a property, right? But I mean, I do. I have 5 properties and I rent this apartment. But let's say a normal person, a regular person that maybe just wants to rent an apartment, they don't have any property here. It's like, how am I going to rent an apartment here? Well, you need to have a co-signer that owns property or that can back you up and put a business against your lease in case you default on your lease. So it makes it very difficult, even for Colombians, to rent. It's a hassle. So that's a huge pain point when people get here, because then they're paying inflated prices for these furnished apartments on Airbnb. And Airbnb is inflated not by 50% or 100%. It's like 200% more expensive going through Airbnb than actually going through the local route of finding an unfurnished apartment for a long-term lease, like a year lease or whatever. For example, I'll give you my example. This apartment's a 3-bedroom apartment in El Poblado in Barrio Manila on Calle 10. I can walk up to Provenza in 12 minutes. I clocked it. And obviously Barrio Manila is amazing because it's got a bunch of restaurants and hostels, things going on every single day. It's a hot spot. But I got into this apartment 7 years ago, and my rent to this day is about $425 per month. A 3-bedroom, 98 square meters. I've got one spare bedroom over there where I have an extra bed when I have guests or whatever. I have my bedroom, which is the master, and then this is another bedroom that I turned into an office, a shared bathroom, kitchen, and the what do you call it? The living room, right? So if you've seen some of my videos, I did a little tour, or kind of a little tour, but anyway, you could kind of see the layout in my videos. But I pay $425 per month. Now, my Airbnbs, I have a couple of Airbnbs in this same building that I have completely gutted, turned them from a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom, and I list them on Airbnb for $2,500. Like, let that sink in. I pay $425. Okay, let's say if you were on the market, for example, if this apartment was on the market, they would probably raise the rent to about 600 max, $600. So let's say $600 for this property if you were to get into a rental agreement right now, unfurnished, through a local rental agency. $600. My same Airbnbs that are obviously completely gutted, brand new everything. If you see my video on my apartment where I gave my apartment tour, that's what they look like. So they're completely higher end, $2,500. The lowest I go on that is $2,000 a month. So that kind of gives you the perspective on how inflated it is. And it's because foreigners have no choice as to renting in Colombia. So how do you get around that? One of the ways to get around that is by living here, like Joel had said, you know, the key to living in Colombia or in Medellin is to have time to be here for a while, right? If you're here for a year or two, you then start making friends where someone can co-sign for you, where you can start building some credit, where you know how to, you know, get a good deal on an apartment that's unfurnished, and then how to furnish it, etc. And it could take you a year, it could take you 2 years. For me, it took me about 5 years. Because where I had to roommate with people because I was broke. Obviously, I had been deported. I had no money, so I had to build myself up. But for someone that comes with money, it could take you even a year, 2 years to get into an unfurnished apartment, unless if you're going to be paying, you know, money in advance. So one of the biggest solutions is to live here for a long time and know the ins and outs. The next solution is to pay a little bit more to those rental agencies that do cater to foreigners with just a passport, and pay them 6 months in advance, or a big down payment, right, or a big deposit. That's also, but you're still paying more money than you should. So that's one of the so that's the first pain point that we noticed when we were building the Medellin masterclass for our first students that came aboard, because they were like, well, how am I going to live there? I don't want to spend thousands of dollars. So we helped them find those local deals and get around paying the gringo tax or the gringo prices through the Medellin masterclass. And then obviously, if you don't go through like a service like ours, then you have to live here and you just have to go through it yourself, just like I did and just like hundreds of other people, right? Sorry, let me get to some of these messages. Roman says, rent like a local is super hard, almost impossible. Yeah. Yeah, you need a Colombian bank account. You need an ID. You need a cosigner. You need insurance. Yes, that's why Airbnb here is a bubble. They're enjoying. They're enjoying the system. Yeah, it's a big system, and we take advantage of it. Us Colombians, because it's not foreigners that own the Airbnbs. In all of Colombia, the statistic is that uh, Colombians own 90% of all the real estate and 10% is owned by foreigners. So it's not like foreigners are taking advantage of it. It's us Colombians that have owned these properties, and now we have our frickin' day in the sun because there's a huge boom in tourism. So why not jack up the prices? There's no regulation, right? We make as much as possible because this might go away one day. And all of these Colombians are making the most out of it, right? These Colombian owners. Sam says, not much, but hope it can help your charity for Christmas. Hey, let's go, Sam. Thank you for the $10 dono or the 10 pounds. Dang, are you in England? Are you in the UK? Thank you so much, by the way, Sam. Yes, that will go towards getting the kids some shoes. AK Joel says, Matt, the El Rodeo Country Club costs around $750 a month. Yeah, times 12, that's about $10,000 a year. Branson, hey, what's up, Branson? How you doing? Branson, he watches me on my gaming channel. Sam also asks, did I know AK before YouTube? Yes, we actually met playing basketball, and then he also comes and volunteers with the kids on Saturdays for the English classes. He actually made like a promo video for us, like 2 years ago or maybe a year and a half ago, and we became good friends like that. But we met playing basketball. Joel says, since it's hard for a foreigner to rent because of all the info you said, do you think landlords will be okay with renters giving 6 months of rent in advance? If you go direct with a property owner, like for example me, if I were renting one of my apartments and you went direct with me, I'd still want a contract. I'd still want to vet you. And obviously, I'd be charging you more just as a security deposit or whatever. So yes, it is possible, and people are doing that. The problem is that most property owners hire an agency to rent, and those local agencies don't have that deal. It's like you either have the requirements or you don't. Now, there are some companies that do rent to foreigners on a passport, but obviously there's a marked up price there, especially if it's furnished. The master class teaches about digital marketing. No, what's up, Michael Pham? How you doing? No, the master class is just about moving to Colombia. It's for people that are already ready to move. They've been here before. They've made the decision, but they need help not only finding an apartment, but maybe they want to buy a property. They want to learn about the different visas, like the investor visa, the business owner visa, property owner visa, or even like a student or digital nomad visa. Or even the marriage visa. One of our students is looking into that as well. And it's for people that maybe want to start a business here, maybe hire locals for their existing business in the United States or in another country. So it's people that are already like on that path. So yeah, to answer your question, it's not about digital marketing. There's nothing in the masterclass that teaches people how to make money to get here, but I'm going to be making a secondary channel. That's my next project. In about 6 months to a year, I'm going to start on a secondary channel where it's going to be the premise of that channel. I can't do it here because it messes with the algorithm for YouTube. But this channel is all about Medellin, moving to Medellin, the Medellin buzz. But my secondary channel will be about leaving your 9 to 5, working remote, living your dream life anywhere in the world, really. And I'll show you how I did it myself and how you can do it. James, what's up, James, the pro expat? What's the easiest way to get residency? The easiest way to get residency is to marry someone. That's what I've heard. I heard that from our lawyers at Nexo. They say that the easiest visa to acquire is the marriage visa. So come down here and get yourself a little paisa. Yeah, back in the UK now after the Philippines. Oh, that's right. You were in the Philippines. That's right. Yeah, AK Joel says, thanks to Sam for the dono. Yes, we'll be able to get them shoes. We're AK, that's our mission for Christmas, is to buy all the kids nice shoes, not just like some shoes that are going to break in a month. Hotshot says, "Hey Andrew, save me a stool at the sports bar. I'm on my way. Let's go." So I try to go for most major sporting events, especially Laker games. But during the week, I don't go very much. I usually go, for example, today's Friday and it's Halloween. I got 2 Halloween costumes. I'm one of those guys that loves to dress up, and I love Halloween parties, especially in Medellin. I mean, I won't get into the details, but it is super fun. Got a Halloween costume party to go out today. So I got to pick what costume I'm going to wear tonight. I've got 2. I've got Michael Myers, like the full Michael Myers, like with the knife, the Michael Myers mask, and obviously his jumpsuit. I ordered it on Amazon. Or the other one, which is completely different, it's a giant banana. It's just a banana outfit. I don't know if you guys are old enough, some of you guys, or even, it might be like a subcultural thing. Where remember that banana that used to sing peanut butter jelly time, where you at? So it's that costume with the glasses and everything. It's just a giant banana. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get my banana peeled. We'll see. I think the Michael Myers might be too hot though with the mask. Are the mountains nice in Colombia, Branson? Yes, the mountains are incredible. We live in the Andes Mountains. The Andes mountain range. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I live in a valley, and I look over the west side of the city, and looks into the valley and into the mountains. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's amazing. It's really amazing. What's up, Aaron? How you doing? Hi from Virginia. Can you buy and operate transportation like a motorcycle without being a Colombian citizen? Yes, you can buy. If you've got cash, you can buy anything here. If you got the money, all you got to do is buy. And to get the motorcycle license is really easy. It's really, you just pay for it. I mean, I'm not saying you should do that, but that's what people do. People pay for it. You can take motorcycle driving lessons. You can, but to get a driver's license, you just have to pass a cognitive test, like a hearing, sight, and reaction test. And really, that's it. There's no written or driven test. That's why people drive like idiots here. Because you don't have to actually pass a test. Matt Hardrick says, yes, Aaron, I bought an SUV. Your license from your home country works. You have to register with RUNT. Yes. Your license works here up till a certain amount of years. I think it was like 2 years the last time I checked. But it's really easy to get a local license too. Moody says, hey, Andrew, we'll reach out to you to watch the game. The 9th of November, we'll be there about 15 days. We'll do some apartment hunting as well. Ooh, nice. I love apartment hunting. I'm literally going to go look at 2 apartments today with another business partner. You can put a foreign plate on a vehicle you bought in Colombia or operated. I don't know about that. I've never really seen that. Why would you put a foreign plate on a local car? I've never seen that, so I don't know. Same in Philippines. The more rural, the easier it is to get things. Yeah, cash is king here. It's really easy to get anything that you want. I mean, pretty much, getting around things. So again, guys, back to the topic, living in Colombia. So we talked about one of the biggest pain points here is to move when you're moving here is to not get jacked on prices for place to live, right? So one of the biggest ways around that is to go to local agencies that do cater to people with passports. The second way to do that is to take the Medellin masterclass, and we show you how to do it. And if you do get the elite, we'll do it for you and find you the good deal. But obviously, it just depends on your budget and it depends on your time. If you have all the time in the world, then you're going to be fine. You'll just go check and you go do the groundwork yourself. But the people that take the masterclass, especially the elite version, are people that either have businesses going on and they have the budget and they value their time a lot in order to save time. They just hire us and we do it for them. Our personal assistants will help them find the place them, etc. For a whole year. Sam says, it is worth having. Is it worth having a nice bike there, such as Ninja 650, or will you just get jacked? Also, why do most nice cars have Envigado plates? Just better area? No, it's because there are more dealerships in that area. And you get better deals because there's more dealerships in that area. It's kind of like in California where you have like certain cities that that have more what do you call it? More dealerships. Here, a lot of the dealerships are in Envigado, and a lot of the deals happen there, so you get the Envigado plates. But you can find deals pretty much anywhere nowadays. But yeah, to answer your question, is it worth having a nice bike in Colombia, or are you just going to be jacked? No, well, what I've heard, and this is my experience from people that do have nice bikes, is that nice bikes don't get jacked that much because there's no market, there's no aftermarket for it. They can't strip it and sell the parts. Now, if you've got a cheap, $500 bike or $1,000 bike, that can get jacked very easily because those are interchangeable. They can sell them for parts. There's a market for it, and it's easier to get rid of, right? Chop it up and get rid of it. If you've got a Ninja 650, how are you going to chop that up and sell it for parts or sell it to somebody else that's going to want to buy it, right? And the police can find it easier because it's pretty unique. So what I've heard is that having a higher end bike is actually less dangerous than having the cheaper bikes. And if you leave it on the street overnight somewhere, it might not be there the next day type thing. Joel says, I'm 14 months away from joining your program. Oh, let's go. Yeah, by the way, guys, the Medellin Masterclass, it's a lifetime deal. So if you get it now, when it's on discount, you can use it whenever you want in the future. It's a lifetime. So if you get it now or later and take it later, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Matt says, you go out with cabalgatas. Where at? I don't do cabalgatas very much because I'm in the city. But if you wanted to do cabalgatas, you can literally go to Sabaneta. There's cabalgatas in Sabaneta, parts of Envigado. If you want to ride a donkey, some of the small neighborhoods. I played basketball for like 10 years competitively, and we'd play little tournaments in little neighborhoods and like the poor neighborhoods here. That was super fun. But you would always see like a guy with like little horses or a donkey that would give rides to their kids. So you could do that too in the city, but I've never done it. Cabalgatas, the best cabalgata I heard is in the small towns where you can like go for like a day, literally drinking guaro and riding a horse, but I've never done that. Hey, James Jones, thank you so much for the $20 dono. Appreciate it. Buenas. Desde Oaxaca, ¿qué más el compa James? Going to Neiva again in a month for Noche de Velitas. Oh, the 6th of December, right? That's the 6th. Yeah, the 6th of December or the 9th. I think it's the 6th. Love both MB and JK. Let's go. Info. I learn a lot. Yes, Neiva. I've never been to Neiva, but that sounds amazing. Dia de Velitas is the 6th of December, and it's basically a holiday where you have like the whole weekend. You're just basically partying, and they do what they call marranadas. A marranada is like where they kill a pig on the street and feed it to everybody. Now that's illegal in Medellin, but in some of the smaller cities and smaller towns, they still do that ritual, and they call it a marranada. What is it called? A pig out, I guess. AK says, my girlfriend's friend just got hit by a car when riding a scooter. The drivers here are crazy. Dang, she got hit by a car when driving. Yeah, I don't need to drive or anything. I do want to buy a car next year and do some road trips to smaller towns and vlog it for the channel. So I'll probably be doing that, but I'll be buying a used car. I think it's safer to get a car. It's more practical to get a motorcycle, especially if you're a local and you have to commute back and forth to work. It's definitely more practical, and it saves you more money. But a car, as in terms of safety, I think is better, especially if you get like an SUV. Do they play pickleball in Medellin? Yes, there's a pickleball little group here. Again, go to the mdecommunity.com. Just type this into MDE community into Google, and you'll find a community of guys and gals that play pickleball. Yeah, you can go to the, AK says you could go to the Unidad Deportiva de Belén and find pickleball, but there is a little WhatsApp group for pickleball as well. So a big pain point again is moving to Colombia and renting. Another huge pain point for people when coming down here is apart from the normal stuff, like figuring out what kind of visa to get. I mean, you should be figuring that out right now. And that's why in the Medellin Masterclass, that's one of our biggest modules that we go through with the lawyers, our visa lawyers at Nexo Legal, is to figure out and to go through the most popular, because there are various, I didn't know how many visas there were. There's like 8 different visas you can get in Colombia, maybe even more. But the most popular ones, right? Figuring that out, you should probably do that before you're deciding to move here for long term, whether it's 6 months to a year or more than a year, or maybe you want to stay here 6 months and off 6 months, but you want to be able to move here like a local and get a local ID. You want to figure that part out, right? That's a big pain point for some people, is figuring that part out. Another big pain point is buying property in Colombia. A lot of the people that come down here, they rent for a while, but their MO is to buy a property in Colombia. So here's the thing. If you are not Colombian and you don't have a local ID and local credit, you're not going to get a loan for a property here. You have to get a local ID through either whatever visa that you get, long-term visa, and you have to start building credit and then apply for a loan. And then on top of that, the way that the loans, this is why when people say, oh, that there's a bubble in Medellin for the real estate market, that's people that don't know about real estate saying words that are trendy like bubble. There is no bubble. There might be a tourism bubble, but I doubt it, because it's not being inflated by the government or by inflation of the tourism sector. But real estate, Colombia has never really had a bubble because there is no financing in Colombia. The financing is so rigid. Banks will only finance 70% of the total purchase price. That means that your down payment is 30%, no matter what bank you go through, unless if it's a private loan or something. You're always only going to get 70% of the purchase value, and then you have to put down 30%. And most loans are 15-year loans at about like 12%. So there's really no bubble, to speak of, like an inflated bubble caused by free money, like it did in the United States back in 2007, when anybody and their mother can get a loan just by farting on a contract and getting a loan for a $600,000 house at 4% down, right? That doesn't exist here in Colombia. So the market price doesn't get inflated by it. It might get a little inflated because now there's more money coming into the country, and maybe people are making more money too, because unemployment actually has gone down. It was at 15% during the pandemic, and it's about 9% in Medellin, and in Colombia as a whole, it's like a little over 10%, but it has been going down every year. So people are making more money. So there is more money in the country. So maybe that will obviously inflate real estate prices if more people have access to cash. But the problem for a foreigner is, like, you have to come up with the money. You have to have the cash. So what is the workaround? There really is no workaround. The biggest workaround that I have found is that if you are Colombian and you're living in another country, for example, my sister and my dad have both done this, and now I'm teaching everybody that I know that is Colombian that lives in the United States or in another country, is that there are banks here in Colombia that will work with your foreign credit, your U.S. credit, to give you a loan for a property in Colombia. The same requirements, though, or the same stipulations: 70%, 30% down, 70% loan over 15 years usually. But you can use your U.S. credit. For example, my sister has lived her whole life in the United States. She wants to buy an apartment here, but she has no Colombian credit, so she can't get a credit. She can't get a mortgage loan here, so she wasn't even able to apply for it. They just laugh at her. So we found out that there are banks like Bancolombia, Davivienda, BBVA, etc., that have these programs for Colombians living abroad that will give them a loan based on their credit in that country. So she was able to qualify for a really good loan. And now that's why we're apartment hunting now. Like, for example, today we're going to go look at two apartments today, because she was able to secure that loan. It took her like 3 or 4 months to get it, but you can do it. So that's one workaround, but you have to be Colombian. So there's that caveat. So if you're a foreigner, you just have to have the cash to be able to buy a property here. The good thing is that to buy a property here, you can get a really nice property between $50,000 to $150,000, depending on the area. If you want to live in a nice apartment in Medellin, you can get one for $50,000, $60,000. If you want to live in a really nice apartment in El Poblado, you can spend up to $200,000, $300,000, depending on what penthouse and what building you're getting it at, right? So that's the case there. Matt, I have a new Chevy Tahoe and satellite internet. Let's go road. Wait, you do, Matt? You live in Medellin? Take me on a road trip. You got satellite internet? Oh, you got the Starlink. I signed up for that, but it just didn't justify me paying $100 a month for it if I'm not even going to use it yet. So I will get it once I start road tripping. I'm an American. Is it possible to get Colombian citizenship? Yeah, but you need to work towards it. You have to. It takes about 4 to 5 years. One of the biggest questions that I have for a lot of the people that want to become residents or citizens is why? Why become a Colombian citizen? When if you get, for example, long-term visas, some of the long-term visas are up to 4 or 5 years. You could get residency too, but is there a real benefit of becoming a resident of Colombia or a citizen of Colombia, or even a tax resident of Colombia? If you're here more than 183 days, I believe it is, you have to, by law, you're required to file taxes. Doesn't mean you have to pay. You have to file taxes, and then with an accountant or an attorney, you can figure out what you're going to be paying. But that's another pain point that I'll get to here. But the question is why? Why, Familia Sanchez? Why do you want to become a Colombian citizen? Is there like an unheard benefit that I don't know about? Like, for example, the Colombian passport ain't that great. I mean, if you've got a U.S. passport, you've hit the lottery. ABX girl, if you have an older spouse, can you both apply for the retirement visa, or the older spouse applies for the retirement visa and the younger spouse applies for the digital nomad visa? I think you can both do it, but again, you want to consult with the Nexo lawyers. Those are a go-to. Any competent visa lawyer or even visa person, because a lot of them aren't lawyers. A lot of the websites that you might find on the internet aren't lawyers, but they are still competent. But I always advise going with Nexo because I know them. Joel says, y'all providing a lot of value. I can't see how somebody that is planning on moving, why not join? You're saving them headache and money and mistakes, money and cost of money. Yeah, plus people are providing you with a good network. Yeah, that's one of the biggest perks of the Medellin Masterclass for us has been, I mean, for me personally, which is something that I didn't really think about when we started making the Masterclass, is that we've attracted the right type of people. We've attracted people that are entrepreneurs, people that are early retirees or just retirees in their 60s. We've attracted people that are professionals in whatever industry that they work in, whether they work remote or they own a business, which is way different than just attracting the regular tourist or the person that just wants to live here on $1,000, dollars a month in like the barrio or whatever. That to me, although I don't hate on those people, and great if that's what you want to do, but I want to build a community where I can learn stuff from those people as well. Not just me showing you how to do this life here and get the most out of Medellin, but I also want to learn something and network. And if we find a project and we can, 5 people can invest in a building and we can make a restaurant on the first building and a hotel on the top building, on the top floors, shoot, I'm all for that. That's what I live for. So we've been able to find people like that. So it's really amazing. I can't wait to see what this is going to turn out to be in a year from now. Familia Sanchez, the same reason of why I'm becoming a Mexican citizen. There might be a restriction later in the future that foreigners will be limited on what they can buy. I'm buying property in Mexico as well. Oh, nice. Okay, so there is no restriction in Colombia for foreigners, and I don't foresee there being a restriction in Colombia ever for a foreigner buying property here. Again, the statistics are that out of all of the property that is owned in Colombia, only 10% of that is owned by foreigners. 90% is owned by Colombians. So 9 out of the 10 apartments that you see are going to probably be all Colombian owned. So I don't see that being a big problem even in the nearest future, maybe even in our lifetimes where, oh no, we're being overrun by the Chinese and they're buying everything. We're going to restrict foreigners from buying or something like that. Even where in countries where that has happened, I haven't really seen restrictions. For example, Venezuela, Chinese own Venezuela. Like I have friends that go there and they're like, yeah, Chinese, they love the Chinese there. They own a lot of the land there. It's crazy. Do you do guides? Okay, Juan, what's up? Okay, Juan, how you doing? Yeah, so I don't do guides. I don't do. I'm not a tour guide, but I do have friends that own tour guide companies here, or and that are tour guides. The best way to find a tour guide though here, like if, for example, my driver Oscar, he owns a transportation company. He's got a fleet of cars, and he also speaks English and does tours. He's got a nice sedan. It's like a Toyota four-door large car, very comfortable, air conditioning, whatever. And when like I have friends or family that they're like, oh, we don't want to get on a bus and do like a bus tour. Can we get a personalized tour? I'm like, call Oscar. He'll take you anywhere for the whole day, stay with you, tell you about the history of the city, etc. He's amazing. If you want his contact, just hit me up. I'll send it to you. You can email me or just hit me up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. What's another? So yeah, so that's a big pain point is buying property here. But the advantage is that property is a lot cheaper than what you would find in the United States. Again, let's keep it at $100,000. $100,000 would buy you a pretty darn good apartment here in Colombia in a nice neighborhood, and you can and the return on investment if you furnish it or if you remodel it. Let's say you put $40,000 into it, is pretty high right now because again, tourism is on a boom, and there's a big demand for furnished apartments right now. Although there is more inventory now, you can still make pretty decent money. You're making more than an 8% return, that's for sure. Bro, are there a lot of hot Venezuelan girls there? Are they easy? Felix, first of all, we're trying to keep this family friendly. But yes, there are a lot of Venezuelans. And we both know that Venezuelan women and Colombian women and Panamanian women, all the women from this area are pretty damn good looking. So yes, you are going to find a lot of them. That's where I'll get it. Are you friends with Passport Dog? He's got great videos here too. Oh, no, I've never seen Passport Dog. No, I'll have to check him out. But yeah, my last girlfriend was Venezuelan. She's amazing. She's super hardworking. She is beautiful, obviously. I met her when she was working. I have a big thing for burritos. I eat a burrito almost every day. And there was a burrito place that was on my way back from the gym. This was like 5 years ago. No, less, like 4 years ago. Right before the pandemic. And I would walk back and I'd hit up that burrito place. And then one day they had this new waitress. And I was like, dang, I got to talk to her. And she was not receptive. She just wouldn't even talk back, wouldn't even smile at me. I was like, what the heck? I think I'm pretty sociable. Okay, I kept going, and then started chipping away at it. And then we started going out. Yeah, so yes, it's pretty cool. How easy is it to get a Venezuelan girlfriend? It's as easy as getting any other girlfriend in the world, I think. I've never really had a problem getting a girlfriend when I lived in the United States. I never dated a Latina in the United States, and I'm Colombian. I never even and I lived in Southern California where there's a ton of Mexicans, and at my school it was like half Mexicans, half white people, black people, Mormons, Jewish people, and I never dated a Latina until I came to Colombia because it's pretty easy to make friends and really get a girlfriend. I don't know. I've never really had that problem, but yeah, it's pretty easy here. Sam says, do you do meetups, etc. for your groups? Yes, the Medellin Masterclass, we do 2 meetups a month. One of the meetups that we're doing this coming month is going to go watch a soccer match. So we're all going to get tickets. We're going to go watch Nacional or Medellin play, go have a couple beers beforehand, and then have our drivers bring us back. Or maybe I'll just get a bus. I don't know, like a small bus, right? Like one of those little buses, like the Sprinter van type buses. Mr. Afri says, where do you see Medellin in 5 years? Do you think the rents will be regulated? And how long will the bubble last? By the way, what do you think of Cali? Oh, good question. So in 5 years, in regards to rents, I don't think they're going down. I think they're going up. I honestly think that people are making, like I said, unemployment has diminished every year, year over year, by almost 0.5%. So it was at 15% in 2020. It's more than half of a. It's like at least 1%. It was at 15% during the pandemic. Now, nationwide, it's about 10%. And here in Colombia, it's 9%. So there's more business, more work opportunities here. And obviously in Medellin, people hustle. That's their mentality. That's one of the stereotypes of the Paisa, is that they're hardworking, that they never, even if they don't have a job, they'll find a way to make money, whether it's building their little business or whatever. So I just see things becoming a little bit more expensive, but I don't see it inflating by a ton, right? The only thing that will inflate is tourism prices. People that are going to be staying in hotels or furnished apartments, that's what's going to be inflated. But as far as locals, yeah, they can only afford so much. It's not going to go up that much. What do I think about Cali? I always said that if Medellin didn't exist, I would live in Cali. Cali is amazing. The problem with Cali, though, is that the crime rate is higher and also the corruption's even more. There's more corruption in Cali than there is in Medellin, and it's evident. You'll go over there and you'll see like unbuilt bridges. Like you'll never see that in Medellin. Like that's a shame for a Paisa, because Paisas are very, very proud people. Like they're like the culture, like the Medellin people are called Paisas, and they're very proud. So to have a road that's unfinished, or a building that's unfinished, or what do you call it? Like a major highway that's unfinished for years, that would be like a big shame for them. So they finish projects here, and the government doesn't like, they're corrupt, but like the people say here, at least at least they front enough to show that, okay, things are getting done. In Cali, you'll see unfinished bridges, unfinished apartment buildings. It's more run down than Medellin. But as far as culture, people, and the fact that you're only 2 hours away from a beach, I would definitely live there. I loved being there. I've been there 3 months at a time, etc. I had a girlfriend that lived there, so I'd go visit her, and it was super cool. And the people are different, and to be honest, I think the food's better too. Damn, Felix, you got that thing from Venezuela? Yeah. What percent of Venezuelan girls on Tinder? What am I, a stat machine for dating? I don't know. I don't even have a Tinder anymore. I never use Tinder. I mean, literally, I do real life Tinder. I like a girl, swipe right. I don't like her, backhand. No, I'm just kidding. I don't use the dating apps anymore. It's just, life is too easy. Like, for example, tonight we're going to a Halloween costume party. I'll be costumed up. I don't know if I'm going to be a giant banana or I'm going to dress up as Michael Myers, but either way, I'm going to meet somebody today. Or we'll meet people. It doesn't matter. Victor says, hey, fan of your videos. I work in Berlin, Germany. Do you prefer to secure a job first and move to Medellin? Any good tax consultant that you recommend? Yes, Victor, the tax consultants are at nexo.legal. Just type in nexo.legal in your browser, and you'll find Nexo is the name of the company or the law firm. They have a tax consulting. They have a tax attorney there, and he speaks English. So definitely hit them up. The best way to reach them is through the WhatsApp number, through a WhatsApp message. Again, emails in Colombia are not optimal for doing business or even communication. Just people don't reply to emails. It's better through WhatsApp. But yes, secure that money coming in, Victor, because once you're here, the money will go. That's one thing that I've noticed a lot here in Colombia from people that I meet all the time, is that they don't have a job secured, or they don't have a source of income coming in. They have savings, but those savings, they start to burn through them because they don't think in pesos. They think in dollars, or they think in euros. And they're like, oh, that's only €1. Or, oh, that's only 20 euros. That meal only cost me 20 euros, where in the UK, it would cost me 40 euros or 50 euros or 60 euros. So 20 euros is not that much. And they're spending money every single day, and then it starts to go. They're partying more. They're going out more because your money goes a lot farther here. And if you don't have that income and you don't have a ton of savings, then you're going to be finding yourself on a plane back home to go work or find a job, stay with your parents. I've seen this way too many times. Or stay with a family member until you get a job, and then wish that you could come back to Colombia for a year, 2 years, 3 years. You don't want to be caught in that. It's better to organize yourself and then get over here. ABX Girl says, it seems there's a lot of new building construction in Medellin that may keep the prices low. Yeah, since I've been here, since 2010, there has been construction every single day somewhere. in my neighborhoods, like in the neighborhoods that I've lived in. It's not even in the city. It's just everywhere you look, there's new buildings going up, new construction, new things happening. So there is money coming in. There are obviously these construction companies are not, doing it for charity work, right? Uh, Romo, what's up? Romo says, Felix, you just gotta go, bro. Yeah, you just gotta be here, bro. You just gotta be here if you wanna check it. Romo says, do you recommend Remax or is it better to just go through local owners? Yeah, for renting as a local, you're gonna have to go through the ideal way to find a rental is to find a property owner that's renting their property without an agency, or let's say you just get their contact number and you go directly through them and you don't have to go through a contract. You could just pay the owner directly. That's the best way. But the other way, the Remax, I didn't even know there was a Remax in Colombia. They're all little rental agencies. Same with real estate agencies. I've never used a real estate agent. I've just found my deals by finding the actual owner. But for example, right now that I'm property hunting for another apartment with my sister, today I've got two different real estate agents finding properties for me and bringing them to me. The good thing is that the seller pays the commission on the real estate agent, so it's not that big a deal. I just would prefer to deal directly with the owner. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. If you're finding the deals through a real estate agent that's competent, it's fine. Tyler says, I have income coming in from VA. Just had another appointment yesterday for more compensation. You have places, how much for a 3-week stay? My Airbnbs are about the lowest when I have like the smart pricing on Airbnb. The lowest is $90 per night. The highest could go up to $130 per night. It just also depends on the length of your stay and also the time of the year and how rental prices are going. They have like a smart pricing system, which works really well. Like, for example, if I don't get an inquiry in a few weeks, it lowers it down to about like $90 a month. And then like people start inquiring. Then once it's rented, it'll keep it at like 100, 120. And if there's a lot of demand for apartments, it'll go up to as high as $130 a night. So yeah, the cheapest $90 a month. A night for my rentals. But again, my rentals are 5-star, and I only rent to 5-star people. I don't do like the people that are here and that to mess things up. Free Origin, what's up? Laureles was voted one of the most innovative neighborhoods. Do you think that the rent prices in Laureles will soon be like in Poblado? No. No, because Laureles isn't as exclusive, and Laureles is way more dense than El Poblado. El Poblado has more space, I guess, and also less density and traffic because it's on the side of the mountain. Laureles is literally like smack dab in the middle of the city. So, and there are huge streets that go through it, like La Sesenta. You've got the highway. You've got a few other major streets like Avenida Colombia that go east to west, and then north and south. You've got like a lot of traffic that goes through there, a lot of noise pollution, a lot of density, a lot of people that live there and go through there. So I don't think the prices will go up as high as El Poblado prices in Laureles, but I do foresee it becoming a hotspot, or pockets of Laureles becoming hotspots, like La Castellana or El Primer Parque, Segundo Parque areas. Those pockets will go up in rent. They've already gone up in rent in the past few years. Now with the attention that it's getting as being one of the coolest neighborhoods in the world, there's probably going to be more demand for tourists wanting to stay there for short term, and that will jack up the prices on Airbnb and furnished rentals for going through an agency local route. Even in El Poblado, you can get something for $600, $800. That's really nice, but that's going the local route. I live in Cali, but Cali is dangerous. My girlfriend wants to live in either Pereira or Santa Marta. She has family in both cities. Ooh, I love Santa Marta. Pereira is like a mini Medellin. They've got like 1 million people there. But Santa Marta is cool because it's on the beach, and it's got some of the prettiest beaches that Colombia offers by the Tayrona area. That's where I usually go when I go to Santa Marta. James Jones, smash that like button. Yeah, guys, don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't subscribed. I go live every Friday with a different topic. Today we're talking about living like a local, optimizing your budget. We talked about renting. Obviously, you want to optimize how you rent here, not just go through Airbnb. Number 2 was buying property, optimizing how you're going to buy property. The best way to optimize how you're going to buy property or buying a property is by going directly with a property owner and dealing with them directly and not going through a real estate agency. But I don't have anything against going through a real estate agency as long as it's a competent agent that will help you find a good deal. And a lot of them are not in it to help you find a good deal. They're in it to get the most out of their commission. So if you tell them, hey, I have $110,000 to buy a property, they're not going to go out of their way to say, hey, I found this great one for $90,000. Hell no. They're going to go, oh, this one over here is $115,000, but it has everything that you want. That literally, they're like used car salesmen. But when you do find a good one, that's a keeper. Yeah, let's see. Another comment here. We've got Matt says, there are so many U.S. veterans living in Medellin that the VA has an office there. Yeah, it's become a destination for veterans. Again, cost of living, the culture, the people, the quality of life is pretty high here if you've got the money. Tyler, that means I wouldn't have to travel back to the U.S. for appointments. It's awesome. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Felix, are the girls hotter in Medellin, Cali, Bogota, and some other cities? I found beautiful girls in all of those cities. And I have girlfriends that are foreigners that say that they've found handsome men in all of those cities. It just depends on your types, too. Familia Sanchez says, I like Laureles better than Poblado as far as authenticity. Yeah, a lot of people. So this is one of the gripes that I have with expats or foreigners or travelers that come to Colombia. They associate Colombian culture with poverty. It's like, I don't want to live in Poblado because that's where the rich people live. And what's wrong with rich people, rich Colombians? And it's obviously it's a poor country, but they signal authenticity of getting the real Colombia feeling with poverty. It's like, oh, I have to live in a lower estrato neighborhood to get that real Colombian feel, where the only people that live in El Poblado, again, 90% of the people, if not more, that live in El Poblado are Colombians, not foreigners. So living in El Poblado is also could be a Colombian experience. It's a Colombian rich experience. But the gripe that I have is like, why do we have to associate my country and having an authentic feeling with poverty? It's like, oh, I want to live where the people are. I want to live in Belén. I want to live in Laureles in the lower estrato where there's noise all the time and there's the avocado man coming around every 5 minutes yelling in my window. That's how, and I guess I get it because you don't see that in the United States, but living in El Poblado can also be an authentic Colombian experience. It doesn't mean that you have to go live in a poor neighborhood. But the thing about El Poblado is that it's on hills. So if you like to walk, you're not going to be walking in most of El Poblado. But that's the way I see it. Lens, Laureles is cool. Yeah, I lived in Laureles. I liked living in Laureles. But again, the thing that I didn't like about it is its density. It's like noisy all the time. There's a lot of traffic. It's flat, which I loved, and it was near the basketball courts, which I loved as well. But I live by a basketball court here too, as well. So it's like, I guess it depends. And the biggest allure to Laureles for a lot of people is that it's cheaper than El Poblado. If you can't afford El Poblado, then Laureles is the place to live. But you'll find nicer and better apartments in El Poblado. Tyler, if you want to make money, number one thing is to surround yourself with people that are making money. That's exactly true. That's why we created the Medellin Masterclass, because we want to get surrounded by people that are making money, that are coming down here so that we can learn how to make more money and hopefully invest in the things that they're investing. Like, for example, one of our students owns a mortgage brokerage in Colorado. The guy's coming down here to buy 4 apartments. He's not coming down here to dick around. He's here to buy 4 apartments, live his great life for 6 months to a year, and run his business from here. It's amazing. Like, that's the type of person that I want to know and be around, because I want to know how he makes his money and how we can work together, etc. So it's an amazing thing. It's really cool. Laureles is better in my opinion because I can walk around and speak Spanish all day. You could do that in El Poblado if you like to walk up mountains. But speaking Spanish, you could speak Spanish all day in El Poblado, as long as you don't go to 2 blocks in El Poblado, which is on Calle 10. But anywhere you go in Medellin, it's a common misconception that people think El Poblado is like filled up with tourists and I'm not going to be able to practice my Spanish. That's a common misconception. Literally nobody speaks Spanish here. It's like less than 10% of the people in Colombia speak Spanish, and in Medellin it's probably even less than that. Even in El Poblado, if you go to a high-end restaurant, the waiter doesn't speak Spanish. Doesn't speak English. You're going to have to order in Spanish. You're going to be very lucky. Unless if the waitress or waiter is Venezuelan, there's a higher chance that they'll speak some Spanish. But even then, most of them don't speak, English. Even then, most of them don't speak English. So you're going to have to practice your Spanish. Again, I think the biggest reason why people prefer Laureles, a lot of people prefer Laureles, is because number one, it's flat, and number two, it's cheap. And you can swap those two depending on your budgets. How much would you pay in the current market to buy a 3-bedroom apartment in Laureles near Parque 1-2 plus renovation? Ooh, depends on the age of the building. If it's like a 15-year-old building or less, you could pay upwards to $100,000. If it's like a 40-year-old building, you could pay as cheap as $80,000, $70,000. It really depends. I don't know the comps completely there because I haven't done house hunting there, but just based on the comps that I know here, it's got to be cheaper there. Just like when I go to Mexico, I don't want to be where the majority of the people are Europeans or other people are other than locals. Again, El Poblado, where you see the most tourists, it's literally like 5 blocks on Calle 10 and the vicinity. If you go live in any other little neighborhood in El Poblado, you're not going to find foreigners. Any building that you live in Medellin, as long as it's not like an Airbnb building, because there are some of those, you're not going to find any foreigners. I've never lived in a building where I wasn't the only foreigner in the building, except for now, where I own 2 of the buildings here. My business partner owns another one, and my friend owns another one. So now there are basically 3 foreigners in the building out of the 8 apartments. The other people are still all Colombians. So you're going to find Colombia. Colombia is not overrun by Europeans and Americans, that's for sure. Especially Medellin. Medellin is not. There's a lot of tourism, and you'll find pockets where there's a lot of tourists. But if you literally go like 5 blocks east, west, south of the tourist area, you're going to be surrounded by Colombians. Can't lie. I thought Poblado was 70% dirty old men, but that's probably because most Colombian videos on YouTube cater to the audience. Yes, don't believe YouTube is not the reality, right? You're not going to see the real Colombia through YouTube because they're vying for clicks, right? And what gets the most clicks? Women and the dirty street life, right? That's what gets clicks. James Acosta, Century 21 and few other real estate companies are selling homes in Colombia now. They are jacking up the prices. Yeah, especially because you can use your U.S. credit to get the loan there, probably. James, that's interesting. I've never seen a Century 21 here at all. Let's see. Oh, what's up, Mr. 20? Scubaroo. What's up, Scubaroo? How you doing? Hope you're having a good day. I stayed in Bello. I stayed in the Bello area, but I spoke Spanish since I'm Puerto Rican. I had a great time, and I walked around with no issues. Yeah, I mean, places are as dangerous as you make them, right? For example, if you're walking around with a Rolex and a chain, you could be in El Poblado and get robbed. You could be in Laureles and get robbed, and Bello and get robbed. But if you're just, taking precautions and not doing that or giving papaya, as they say here, then you should be able to move pretty easily. Sam, what's up, Sam? Sam says, AK Joel's Colombia. Yeah, nice. That was what I'm going to do, I think, in Outfit, learn Spanish and live in Laureles, Envigado, but I think the campus in El Poblado mission. Yes, in the poor neighborhoods, for example, like poor areas, like, for example, Envigado or Laureles, the great thing about those areas, if you want to practice your Spanish, is that the buildings are smaller, there's more walking room, or there's more walking involved, and there's more street life than the secluded, buildings in El Poblado, where the whole building can be Colombian, but you're not going to really see anybody walking around out there and stuff because they're in their apartments, they're working, day-to-day life, just like in a building in the U.S. But when you do see people, you say hi and bye. The person that I talked to the most when I did live in a building in El Poblado was my security guard or the security guards. And I had one neighbor that I knew that I would always talk to. He'd invite me over for beer or coffee or whatever. But for the most part, yeah, the poor neighborhoods, that's where you will get the most practice because there's going to be little shops, little stores to go to, etc., to practice in. Felix, what's up, Felix? Are Venezuelan girls in Medellin attracted to foreigners? Bro, you just got to come here and figure that part out. That's not what this channel's about. Mr. Young OG, is the Airbnb business too saturated out there? No, it's not saturated. There's still room and it's still growing. It's more, there's more product, or I guess more apartments available now on Airbnb than a couple of years ago. So that has adjusted prices, but the ROI is still, I mean, literally my ROI is about 15%, which is huge, right? Usually Airbnb, a rental property gets about 6%. Mine's 15% for a few reasons, though. I do know people here. I'm about to meet with one that has, like 20 apartments here. And he has about 6 to 8% ROI because he goes through a rental agency that does everything for him. And it's just a money machine for him. And it's not boutique like mine is. I only have a couple apartments, but I'm very, very, very on top of it. And it's a 5-star experience for the people that come here. As a super host, I make sure to give them a little gift when they get here, ask them why they're coming here. For example, I have a couple coming in February that are here to learn Spanish at one of the Spanish schools in Manila in the area. So obviously I'm going to leave them a little bag of coffee, but also I'm going to make them a little folder with all of the language exchanges that they can go to. On top of that, all of the cafes where they can practice their Spanish in the area, all of the obviously language exchanges that they could go to walking distance because there's like 20. All of the language schools that also have language exchanges as well during the day or at night. So like those are the type of details that, for example, the guy that owns 20 rental units doesn't do for his guests that I do. And that's why my ROI is so high, is because people want to go there and have that experience. Do you do in-person consultations? Yeah, I do. If you want, you can email me. Mr. Young OG. I've done them, a couple of those. Why is everyone seems to be very hyped about kidnapping and robberies in Medellin expat group? I don't know. Kidnapping and extortion in Colombia has always existed. It was at its height during like the Pablo Escobar era. But now, I mean, I've never met anybody that's been kidnapped. But I know it happens. But yeah, it's like, I think it's more of like a buzzword. It's like you hear it, it's like, oh, we need to talk about this because one person got this or had this happen to them or whatever. But I haven't heard of it that much. Personally, I don't know anybody that's been kidnapped. I've heard of people being extorted once they get their cell phone stolen, but that's about it. What's up, Robert? Are Venezuelan girls interested in crypto investing, or are they emotional investors? Robert, what's good, Robert? Thank you so much for the cake that one time, man, or that a couple of times for those vegan cakes that you brought over or that you sent over, Robert. Hope you're having a great day. Are you in Colombia now, Robert? Afri or Origin says, I think the scopolamina issue is made bigger and foreign authorities report more accurately on the danger, including documentaries that you can watch. It will deter many tourists to fly to Medellin. Yeah, I think all those documentaries and stuff obviously deter tourists, which is fine. I mean, most people don't, know the reality of what Colombia is or what the experience of living here is until you come here. So if your only experience with Colombia is watching a documentary, of course you're not going to come down here. Wait, someone ABX girl says yes. How is the rep of Casa Cola? I think about booking with them in 2024. Casa Cola is great. I love Brad. Brad's a friend of mine. They've been a upstanding company for years here in Colombia, catering to foreigners. Yeah, Casa Cola is good. I've never had an issue with them. I've dealt with them myself. You're going to have the whole of your YouTube community living in Manila in 2025, Sam? Well, no, Manila, I think a lot of people won't want to live in Manila because there are a lot of hostels and a lot of language schools here. So you see a lot of foreigners a lot. For me, I don't care about that. I like that. Again, the reason I came to Colombia was not to escape the United States. I was kicked out of the United States. So having a little piece of the United States where I live is amazing. It's great to me. That's what I love. I love that. I love the United States. I didn't want to leave. I wasn't escaping anything. I was kicked out and I had to make the best of a terrible situation for myself. And now that I can't afford to live in the best area or the best neighborhood of all of Medellin, I will live here, right? I will live here and I will associate. I love speaking in English. I love meeting people from different countries that are experiencing my country. And I love helping them come to live here, invest in here, hire locals, do it the right way, pay them well, and get the results they want out of their life, right? Mr. Young OG, thank you so much for the $4.99. Hope you're having a great day, guys. It is Friday. It is 12:22 p.m. here in Medellin, Colombia. It's been cloudy lately and rainy. Today we're talking about how to optimize living here in Colombia. We talked about renting. We talked about buying property. What's another pain point that you guys can think of when wanting to live in Medellin long term? Can anybody think of one pain point that people have other than visas? We talked about visas. We talked about, we haven't talked about a major issue, which I'll get to if nobody mentions it. What's up, CBL Daddy? Thank you so much for the $5 dono. I simply want to support. Everyone should do the same. CBL, thank you so much. CBL, you're amazing. Thank you so much for the dono. Okay, ABX Girl says medical care. Yes, healthcare in Colombia. I'm going through it. This is my first experience with healthcare in Colombia. I've never been sick. I've had COVID 3 times, but very mildly. Never got the shot. Vax free, baby. Not that I have anything against it. I just never got it because I never get sick. That's just my mentality since my dad brainwashed me to think that way since I was a kid. So I've never been sick. So I broke my hand. I fractured a bone in there, just like a hairline fracture. So I had to deal with the Colombian healthcare system and their facilities. So the healthcare system here, if you've got money, is amazing. It's better than the United States. A lot of people have told me that. Not only healthcare, for example, like personal medicine, I guess, but also dentists. If you're coming here to get your teeth fixed, it's way cheaper and the same quality, if not better at times. LASIK eye surgery, any cosmetic surgeries are pretty damn good here. Even like teeth whitening or Invisalign is cheaper here than in the United States. And on top of that, the level of care, I think, is higher because Colombians are social people and they're caring, they're empathetic. So, for example, the surgeon that did my surgery to align they actually put one bolt. It's not a bolt. It's like a little screw to unite the bone that was fractured. I have them on WhatsApp. It's like in the United States, when do you even meet a surgeon? Second of all, actually have them on WhatsApp where you can message them and say, hey, my shit's red. What should I do? Dang it. I cursed them. We're trying to keep it family friendly. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the level of care here, I think, is more personal if you have money. So, for example, the biggest health insurance company, at least here in Medellin, is Sura. I pay about $1,300 for the whole year. I'm 42 years old, never been sick, don't have any history or predisposition to anything really in my family. So I pay $1,300 a year for the top level, which is called Sura Global, which is the global. They call it the global because it also gives you health insurance for when you travel outside of the country, because I do. So I wanted that. And just having that experience with that. I mean, literally I go there. I have a card. I thought I had to show my card. I just give them my ID number. They're like, oh yeah, Mr. Messia, please fill this out and we'll get right to you. In and out. For example, today I went to do x-rays. It took me like, first of all, the clinic that I went to was like walking distance, like 10 minutes away. I went over there at 6 a.m. They did the x-rays and I was out in 30 minutes. And I have the CD with the x-rays to go give to the surgeon, because he's going to pull out the bolt or the screw next Thursday. So that's the level of care, and also the service, and the facilities are great. Like where I got my surgery at, it's just like a hospital in any part of the United States. While I was getting my surgery, so they had to numb me. They hit the nerve under your armpit here, and it literally numbs your whole arm basically, and then I'm sitting there and they're doing the surgery. I can't see it, but they're playing reggaeton, vallenato, salsa in the surgery room. I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, that was my experience there. It was great. Afri Origin. Wait, sorry, Matt. Let's get to Matt. Wait, Felix. Sorry, Felix. I totally missed your message. Traffic, people being late, corruption, transactions at banks, and stuff takes way longer. Yeah, stuff. I mean, but everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. I'm trying to get a little bit more in depth. So yes, healthcare in Colombia is cheaper than in the United States, and it's a higher quality if you do the higher quality healthcare here. On top of that, for example, if you need a nurse, super cheap. If you if you get taken on an ambulance, it's way cheaper than in the United States. So yeah, but you have to have money, right? It's not like for regular Colombians, that's expensive. $1,300 a year is very expensive when someone's making, $500 a month or $1,000 a month even. Let's see. Matt says Colombian banks are a nightmare. Waiting in the bank for hours, accounts getting frozen for stupid things, having to send proof of something. Yes. So dumb. Well, it is dumb until you understand the level of money laundering that happens in Colombia because of the drug trafficking. So that's why they do it. I hate it. That's why I have a personal assistant and an accountant. I don't go to the bank. I only go to the bank to sign something. But my accountant deals with my personal banker at Bancolombia when we bring money in. She's also a signer on the account, so I don't have to go to the bank to sign stuff, only if it's very important, because again, like you said, I hate waiting in lines. I hate, the whole system is just very, very, the bureaucracy is horrible, but there is a reason for it. The amount of money laundering that happens here and shady stuff that happens here, they need to do that in order to control it. Can I ask, why were you deported from the United States? I was deported because I was illegal. I went into the United States when I was a kid at 4 years old, crossed the border in Tijuana. The way that I crossed the border was that we were drugged and NyQuil'd and given to a coyote, which was a crooked border patrol agent, got put under his seats. He drove us across the border in Tijuana and dropped us off at my aunt's house in Anaheim, California. My parents actually walked for 2 days across the border, and we saw them there later. But yeah, in 2010, I ran a stop sign, and I was driving on a suspended driver's license, and I had a couple tickets that I hadn't taken care of. I had to go in front of a judge. The judge said, you could either pay the $5,000 fine or go to weekend jail. And I'm like, well, weekend jail is way easier. I've done 2 years before. When I was 22 years old, I got caught selling meth. And in 2010, I'm like, my felony had been expunged, everything. I did everything right. I was working. Life was great. I was living in Huntington Beach. 2010, went in front of the judge. I said, I'll do the weekend jail. I've done 2 years standing on, I could do a weekend standing on my head. So, and it'll clear my $5,000 fines. All right, cool. So I go in on a Friday night, was supposed to be released on a Sunday afternoon. Never happened. ICE police. I didn't know what ICE police was. ICE police called. I was detained. That weekend turned into about 3 months of waiting for a Colombian plane to be full so that they can ship me over here. It sucked, but everything happens for a reason. Now my life is pretty awesome, and I'm here to share it with you. If I can do it, you can do it, because you have a leg up on me. What's up, Andrew Corbin? Thank you so much for the $5 dono. What are the internet speeds like in Medellin? I'm thinking about moving to Medellin eventually. How fast and how reliable is the internet? You could get up to 300 megabytes upload and download literally for this stream. And I stream video games on this PC. I have a gaming PC. I stream on my other channel. I stream Fortnite almost every other day. And pretty much I used to do it every day, but then I broke my hand, so I haven't been able to. Today is going to be my first stream back playing. I play on controller. Boom, baby. Xbox controller. Elite Series S. Yes, I'm a freaking nerd. But to answer your question, I have 150 megabytes download and about 100 upload. And I've been live, how long has it been? It's been about an hour and 30 minutes. No fluctuation in the internet. It's pretty secure if you want. And this is not even a dedicated line. This is not a fiber. You can get a dedicated fiber optic line because if your building allows for it. And if it doesn't, you can get it built and you'll have to pay the extra fine or the extra charge for that. But I don't need it here. As you can see, the internet's fine. Felix says taking out money from ATMs, also a pain in the butt. Yeah. Taking out money from ATM, especially if it's foreign, I always tell people, before you come down here, open up a Charles Schwab account or an account at a bank that reimburse your ATM fees. Charles Schwab does it like automatically. So whatever ATM fees you have, you'll be able to get reimbursed for that, and you spend less money taking money out. Otherwise, you're going to be spending a lot of money. Not only will the local bank charge you, but your bank charges you. It's a pain in the butt. But yeah, there is a workaround. Scuba says, got caught being an entrepreneur. Got caught being, I guess that's one way to put it. Always been an entrepreneur. Juan, Arango TV, so happy to see this. Looking to move over there. Yes, Juan. Yeah, a lot of people, they have like this hype. There's a hype around Medellin. But to be honest, from what my experience with the students at the Medellin Masterclass, by the way, the Masterclass launches today, and it's a lifetime purchase. So even if you're not coming today or next week or next month or even in this year or next year to Colombia, you'll always have access to the 21 modules on how to move to Medellin and optimize your move to Medellin. It's a lifetime membership. So go get it. MedellinMasterclass.com. It's pretty easy. And on top of that, you become part of our community. We have a WhatsApp group where we all get together twice a month and do events, either a lunch, a dinner, going to a soccer match, maybe even playing a sport, anything that we want to do, we'll be doing it. Andrew Corbin, thank you. No worries. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much for the dono. I appreciate it. Afri Origin says, you are the perfect example that you should never let your head down, hang down, no matter what the situation you are, and respect. Yes, that's true. I find it that my parents had a lot to do with that. Obviously, my upbringing as an immigrant, especially an illegal immigrant in the United States, they had to work very menial jobs until they were able to build their own business. So they were always entrepreneurs. I grew up around that. And I grew up around understanding that no matter what happens in life, it happens for a reason. It's just a stepping stone to where you want to be. But that's a big fact. You got to have an idea of where you want to be, right? I have a 5-year plan. Do you have a 5-year plan? That's a big question. If you don't have a 5-year plan, then you have to surround yourself with people that do have 5-year plans and figure out what would be the best route for you. For example, and surrounding people, a lot of people, like when I was young, I was like, how the heck am I going to surround myself by millionaires or even people that make 6 figures a year? If I don't make that, they don't want to hang around me. How do I do that? Now it's even easier than ever. I literally listen to podcasts every day. One of my favorite podcasts is the Alex Hermosi Hermosi's podcast. Another great podcast on Spotify is Fire Nation, Entrepreneurs on Fire. That guy is amazing. He has entrepreneurs. So I'm surrounded by that every day. They're not my personal friends, but I'm feeding. I'm getting fed, man. Every day I'm getting fed, and I've been doing that for the last 13 years, and it's paying off. It just takes time. Len says, wow, lifetime access sounds amazing. Yeah, the lifetime access is a bit, we talked about that with AK. We're like, okay, how long is the membership? Is it going to be a year? We're like, no, fuck that. It's going to be a whole lifetime. Sorry, I keep cursing. I curse like a sailor, but I do have a gaming channel where only kids watch me, and I'm very, 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 very strict on my language, but I don't think any kids are watching here. Sam says, AK, I don't see what you said. Oh, you didn't see what you said. Daniel says, entrepreneur in the corporate world and on the streets. Actually, I learned how to sell on the street, and it wasn't drugs. I learned how to sell, like really, really overcome my fear of sales when after I got out of prison in 2024, was it 2024? 2004? Yeah, 2004, 2005-ish. I worked for a multi-level marketing company that sold perfume on the street. If you grew up in Southern California or some major cities in the United States around that time, if you were in there, you maybe saw people selling perfume on the streets, selling perfume at Walmart parking lots. That was us. That was me. I learned how to sell, and I got kicked out of parking lots. I got called names. But I succeeded at it, and I got over it. I got over my fear of myself, like of my own image and not being comfortable in my own body. Now I don't care. Now I can stream. Like, for example, this doesn't come natural to me. I've been streaming video games for about almost 2 years now. When I first started, I hated being in front of the camera, but it was something that I challenged myself with. Andrew Corbin, true story. I used to visit Medellin often in 2010-ish and made friends with a young man. Okay. Okay. Who was 20 at the time. He was also deported, grew up in the U.S., and wanted to go to college. Yeah. When you get deported that young, it's really tough to readjust, but anything is possible, man. But couldn't because he didn't have papers. That was pre-DACA. Yeah, that's too bad. But again, education here in Colombia is pretty darn good. Sam says, oh, you got it? Okay. What about TRT, testosterone replacement therapy? Can you get that from the pharmacy or only with prescription? You could get anything at the pharmacy here. It's like Mexico. I saw that in Mexico too. I've never looked into that, whether testosterone, TRT, or even like steroids or all that. But I know that you could get it anywhere. He got stuck in Colombia. He got a ban for 10 years. That stinks. Young OG, any recommendations on a reputable tour company in Medellin? Top 10 tours. Top 10 tours. Yeah, I think they're called top. If you Google top 10 tours Medellin, a friend of mine owns that. We had her on the Colombia podcast. She was a guest on the Colombia podcast when we did that, and she's great. Her company is really good. Top 10 tours. Top 10 Medellin tour. I forget what it is, but if you top 10 tours. Andrew Corbin, I told him to get a job making dollars, not pesos, and go to university. I told him to become a tour guide and make dollars. Yeah, anywhere you can make dollars. I mean, you can make dollars online now so easily, but just a lot of people don't have the knowledge or the access, for example, to a computer or something like that. But yeah, that's true. Sam, what's your gaming channel? Gonna join tonight and trigger you when you die. I try not to rage. It's called Andrew Inspires. Andrew Inspires on YouTube. Yeah. I'll be live at 4 p.m. That's cool, brother. Good for you. Thanks, Daniel. He became a pimp. All right. That's terrible. DJ Muñeco. What's up, Mr. Muñeco? How you doing? I was deported too. Crossed the border, walked 5 days. I'm in U.S. now. In a year, I'm leaving the U.S. I'm an entrepreneur too. It's not worth having a business, and tomorrow they're going to deport you. Yeah, that's true. That's tough. That's tough, man. Well, I wish you the best, and I hope that you make the best out of the situation because it is tough being illegal in the country and trying to start a business. But here in Colombia, we talked about 3 major pain points so far. Number one, when people move down here or come to live here, renting an apartment and not getting gringo priced. Number 2 was buying property here and acquiring funds and what the prices are and optimizing your investment. Number 3 was health care in Colombia, which I think is way more affordable than in the United States, and it's great, and it's just as good as what you can get in the United States. Again, it'll cost you, but it's going to be way less than the United States. Another big issue for a lot of people that you might not even know is an issue is taxes in Colombia. If you stay here 183 days, you are liable to report or file taxes here in Colombia, even if you're just a tourist. You have to show, and their requirements are just like in the United States, you've got to report global income. So if you have income in the United States to your personal name and you file taxes here because you stayed over 183 days, you should report that over there. So a lot of people either don't file because they don't know they have to file and they overstayed, or number two, they do it wrong. And that's a big thing that we've been going through with our students at the Medellin Masterclass, is to make sure that they're filing taxes the correct way. And also, Colombia, there is no double taxation. If you're paying taxes in the United States, you can show that to get credit for whatever you report here. The major point is that you should be working with an accountant or a tax attorney to do that if you are staying here over 183 days. And it's not 183 consecutive days. You could be here, let's say you got here on January 1st, or let's say September 1st, and you were here 3 months, 90 days, and then you left for a month, and then you came back and stayed an extra to make up the 183 days. As long as it's within a 365-day period, you are liable to report taxes. So it's a big thing that could, and what's the downside of not reporting or not filing taxes? The downside is that it could screw with your visa application if you want to stay long-term, get a long-term visa or a residency or even citizenship at some point. You're going to have to face the music some point if you really want to stay in Colombia long-term. So you definitely want to go through a professional like the lawyers at Nexo Legal, or any competent accountant or lawyer can help you with that. But yeah, it's a big pain point for some people because some people have not registered and then they go do their visa, or they go do or they need to do taxes, but they realize that, oh shoot, I should have reported before and now I have to do all that again. And it could be a big hassle for people. Hey, John, what's up, John? Thank you so much for the $20 dono. Let's go, W. Monica Thompson, wait. You are inspiring. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Monica. I appreciate it, Monica. We're friends on Instagram, I think. Can you live for $1,000 a month decent? Yes, Felix, you can. You can definitely, for example, if I were a young person, because I'm 42 now, so I'm not a young person now. I feel young, but I know I'm not young. But if I were like, let's say in my 20s, early 20s, even mid 20s, even late 20s, or even early 30s, to be honest, and I'm starting a business, or I have income coming in and I'm making $1,000 a month, I would easily move down to Colombia, live in Medellin, live in a neighborhood like Laureles, Floresta, Belén, or Envigado, somewhere where I have access to internet so that I can build my business. We have one of our students in the Medellin Masterclass, Sergio. He's a young guy. He's doing exactly that. He's staying in Laureles. He works for a company online remotely, and on the side, he's building his own business. So he's optimizing his money because he's able to spend less living here while building his business and working his full-time job at the same time. So his days have to be like my days were when I was building my business, 16-hour days, because I'd go work a regular job and then I'd work on my business, and it would be like a 16-hour day from like 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. or something like that. But anyway, he's optimizing his time and also optimizing his budget because he's able to spend less on rent, also spend less on food, because food here is almost 50% less than what you would spend in the United States, even if you're eating out. And he's also optimizing because he's able to hire an assistant to help him with his business. So that is an amazing thing, where in the United States, you'd have to probably move somewhere in the middle of the United States to be able to afford that. So that's the way that works. Is the sound working? It's working for me. Monica Thompson says you are young. You're younger than me. Oh, Julio, Dad, that's my dad, Julio Maciel. You were calling me, and I'm in the middle of this right now. Thanks for all you do, brother. Thanks you, Johnny Rios. Hope you're having a good day. Muñeco says, DJ Muñeco, a huevo, siempre me ha gustado Colombia y más porque está barato. That's true. A huevo. Yeah, so guys, okay, so those are the 4 major pain points. And again, to reiterate, you can work around this all yourself. I did it myself when I first got here. It took me 13 years now to understand the system completely, not only because it took me that long because I didn't have enough money to even invest in Colombia or buy property, start businesses and do all this stuff that I'm doing now. But if you do have that and you are coming to Colombia, you could figure that all out yourself. And you can live your life here for a year, 2 years, hire people to do it for you, and you can figure it out. So it's complicated, but if you have help, you can do it. And if you speak Spanish. If you don't, if you want to work around that, go to the MedellinMasterclass.com and we can help you figure that out. You could take the course yourself. It's a lifetime course. So if you're not moving to Colombia or Medellin anytime soon, you will always have access to it lifetime. You could take it whenever you want or retake it, take it now and then retake it. The biggest takeaway, I think, other than being able to take the 21 modules on these biggest pain points that we were talking about and more, is that we have a community and we have all of our contacts. Our resources, it's 100+ resources that I have under, including my personal resources. Like my personal accountant, she's ready to take on clients, like the one that works for me. Gabby, she's on the spreadsheet. Her contact information is there. You can contact her. My attorney that deals with all my properties, you can contact him. My driver, like I said, Oscar, he's part of the driver's spreadsheet where we have 20 different drivers, but I put mine first in case you want to contact the people that I work with. That's the biggest takeaway. And the second biggest takeaway is the fact that now you have a community. When you come here to Colombia, you're not by yourself. We have a Colombia community of people that are living here. We meet twice a week and we do stuff and we share knowledge and hopefully grow together. So that's the whole point of the Medellin Masterclass and obviously this channel. I hope you guys have a great weekend this weekend. What's going on? It's Halloween. Dang, yeah, it's Halloween weekend. Guys, you know the horrible part about Halloween here this year in Colombia is that we have elections for local elections on Sunday. So they start dry law tomorrow at 6 p.m. So no alcohol, none of the bars, no parties, nothing going on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, I can't even go to the bar to watch football because it's going to be closed. It's a dry law all weekend. So we got to go to the party tonight. I think I'm going to be a giant banana though. Felix, bro, how can you make money there with being a U.S. and Colombian citizen, fully bilingual? Get a job in the United States remote. Don't come here with no job. What are your top 3 restaurants in Medellin? I'm vegan, so that'll be different. But the top 3, I think, are like Carmen, Kuan, and Colosal, and OCI. Those are like the top 3 famous ones here, I think, or top 4. No veo la hora para ir a Medellín en diciembre. No he ido desde el 2016. Yeah, December is the best time to be here. Off topic, what's Halloween like in Medellin? It's not like in the United States. Kids don't walk around asking for candy because they might get hit by a car or something because the streets are not, the neighborhoods are not like the neighborhoods in the United States where they're, track houses or whatever. So yeah, they go to I was going to say commercial centers, the malls. They go to the malls and ask for money at the different stores. Not ask for money. Well, some of them might ask for money. Ask for candy in the individual stores. You love Carmen? Yeah, Carmen's awesome. We had her on the Medellin, on the Colombia podcast, her and her husband. They are awesome people. She's from California, San Diego. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. That's it for me. I've got to go do other stuff right now. Oh, Daniel. Dang, Daniel, thank you so much for the $25 dono. Got to give you a heart for that. Thank you so much. Have a drink at Iway, your favorite bar. The shrimp tacos are fire. Would love to meet up and consultation there. Looking to possibly buy a cheap building to reno and Airbnb like yourself. That's a great idea. I'm down, man. Just hit me up when you get down here, man. Thank you so much, Daniel. I will see you here when you're in Medellin, or I'll see you next Friday. I'm going to be live every Friday with a different topic, spreading the knowledge, spreading the love, spreading and sharing my beautiful life and this beautiful city with you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I will see you guys next week. Remember to go to the MedellinMasterclass.com to get more information there, or you can email me. Either way, thank you.